going currently. It's going.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a special Thursday night at the crib. I hope everybody had a wonderful raid, and we're here to probably explain a few things. I know there's some confusion about the expeditions. I think there's been some potentially some updates recently. As far as, I mean, because the slide I put together, I didn't, earlier on, I didn't even think it was worth explaining to everybody because it seemed more about the journey than the destination. So I didn't think I would waste your time or my time putting anything together associated with it. But let's move on. Let's introduce everybody from left to right on the screen. The Earth,
Hey guys, how's it going?
Father George,
Good evening, everybody.
and anybody that's a fan of any vivid films, it's Dr. Death.
Hello.
And this is Hefe. So, let's, Earth, if you want to go to the slides, and I will put you on present. But the first thing we're going to... Okay, it's no problem.
It seems to have crashed for some reason, my Hangouts. Just give me a minute and I'll be there.
Okay. But the first thing I was going to talk about was the fall of the wall. I think everybody here did quite well on it. Any thoughts, generalizations? Is there anything really worth talking about anymore? Because that was the end of that raid cycle. I know Earth ran it with just hunters, and I know George only used his hunters, but that was by choice, not by necessity. Yep. And so, any quick words or anything you guys want to discuss associated with that while Earth is getting up the the slides?
My biggest overall issue, other than the god awful points requirements to get everything, was the attempt to monetize friggin' uranium and titanium and base parts during the raid. I mean, they should never mess with the MOWs, period.
Yeah, I mean, I sort of understand why they did it, because they started realizing it was so easy for so many players. But I didn't like the give and take of like, oh, people want to get titanium and base parts during the raid so they can continue on with their normal lives. Okay, we'll make you pay for uranium as well, which at the same time you need for rogue crews in order to do the raid. And yeah, I didn't like that move.
Well, they didn't give you enough of any of the resources to begin with, even if you were going to waste your coin or your points on it.
Yeah, they did move up the uranium. Yeah, you definitely couldn't be doing high-level retrofits or even base builds. You couldn't be upgrading a turret to to level 9. Because they maxed you initially. You were maxed, I think, at 50,000, and then they bumped that up to 100,000. But that doesn't even get one turret built.
It doesn't even get a good crew. I mean, I've rolled 400,000 just trying to get one specific crew that I needed. I mean, it was shit.
Yeah, it was not well thought out. I mean, if they were going to do that, they needed to multiply the uranium at least by 10, the amount that you got. I mean, 100,000. Yeah, that potentially makes sense, but yeah, 10,000, that doesn't make any sense whatsoever for the purchase that was made. Yeah, it was.
Well, the valuation for all of them. That's the thing, is I don't know that they realize, like, I don't know if they're taking like average usage over all the players, or if they're actually looking at the players that really, like, I use the shit out of the stuff when I need it.
Yeah.
So if they're going to look at my usage over like the course of a month, it's going to be like, okay, that's going to be one number. But like if I'm rolling crews for a specific purpose, I'm going to be going through a ton of that stuff, and I am hearing myself in somebody's.
Yeah, like a million at a time. I go for if I'm running crews, rolling for crews.
Yeah, at least. I mean, it's I don't know that they quite understand the economics behind how we use the stuff, rather than just looking at numbers on a spreadsheet. You know.
Yeah, because people use a lot more uranium, at least for rolling crews during the raid than they would normally. I mean, but not during the raid. You're not using that much for crews. You're using some amount, but probably 25% of my uranium is for crews when I'm not in the raid. But the rest of it's spent on turret upgrades, retrofit upgrades. So I'm probably even going 10%. But then it switches over, like when the MOWs were around. I'm spending 50, 75% of my uranium for crews, and just because my uranium appetite, so to speak, has gone through the roof, because I'm rolling for specific crews related to the raid. And yeah, that was not. I didn't understand it, and I really thought it was a rude introduction to do it on a 6-day tech store raid. I mean, if they did it on a regular raid, that might have made a little bit more sense. But at that point in time, it made way less sense. But yeah, Irf, if you could go ahead a slide.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I ran out of uranium in less than 2 hours going into the raid, and I'd filled up beforehand.
Man, Irf, you were making it rain.
But look at how many players they caught completely with their pants down that didn't even know they were dropping the MOWs. You know what I mean?
I knew, and I'd filled up beforehand, but it didn't stop me running out in 2 hours. So
no, it was a poor move on Kicksai's part that hurt the player base.
Yeah, because all they did was drop the section out of the briefing. They didn't actually mention it. I think that was a lack of communication. They should have at least mentioned it was going to be removed. And then you got to assume all these players are going to be going to the forums and reading through pages and pages of crap in order to do the raid. To look for the omission, not the statement, was I think a big issue that if they're going to be doing things like this in the future, it needs to be remedied. But Irf, could you move up a slide? We're still on the title. There we go. We're still, since we're talking about Follow the Wall. Any other issues that anybody saw? I know Irf can talk to the, he was probably most impacted because he was only using hunters. By the change in the vulnerability of the corrosion clouds to the mortar fire from the gluttonies. And I really think, people called it a glitch. I really, really think that was a game mechanic that got exploited by the players, or exploited is not the right word, but that was used by the players. But I think that was an intentional game mechanic that was removed after a few hours, after they saw what people were able to figure out doing.
Yeah,
and they should have tested it with players, because I think people would have figured it out earlier than having people do stuff and then find out, okay, they took this out after I adjusted to the target.
Yeah, see, I don't know.
I think it was a game mechanic, and then they realized that it was going against them, so they took it out. And I don't think they should have took it out, because it was a piece of the puzzle. You know what I mean? It was something that made the target more fun, because, you tried to figure out little tricks like that you could do that was, would work for you. And it doesn't make sense for Kicksai, after it's already started, to change it, because that just...
in the end, it screwed them, because everybody wanted to find a weakness in that target again, and then in the end, we found a better one, which was you could go in with a single fang and just walk around, trigger off the hunters, get them all inside that little group where the cloud was in there, get them locked in, go in, take out all of the gluts, and then on your way back down again, just trigger all of the subs, run straight back down, and just let them kill everything. Yeah. And then go in and pick off the hunters one by one, instant repair, no damage whatsoever. So it fucked them up that way. At least in the first instance, when people were just using the hunters, they were, we were taking a bit of damage. In the end, we ended up not having any damage at all.
Well, I'll tell you,
I don't know that it was. I don't know that it was intended though, because it would have been in the other two raids. I think it was just something they goofed up on the update.
Yeah, but remember the other thing. I mean, they may say one thing, but I do recall after killing these targets, prior to that fix that happened during the raid, after you killed the target, there was still health.
Still a lot of health left on it.
Yeah. No. Yeah, I know. And it's still like that. It's still like that in the TLC. It is.
Okay, in the TLC, but after the fix, there was no health left.
And that might have been their way of fixing it. I don't know. I'm just saying that if it was intended as a game mechanic, I think we would have seen it over the course of the entire raid, not just all of a sudden in this.
Sometimes they introduce the hunter killer mortar. Sometimes they release the the cloud that can be dispersed. I don't know.
Fundamentally, though, all the things that they've done, fundamentally, the biggest problem I had with the raid is the same problem I've had with the whole freaking raid series. And the fact that they've divided up the skill and the auto hole into separate targets.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? The way it was supposed to be was you could take the skill hole in, hit the target, and do less damage if you could drive properly, if you had the skill. Or you could use the auto hole, take more damage, but still kill the same target. Now that they've divided it, look how bad it's screwing the player base afterwards.
Yeah, and we'll talk about that. We'll talk about the impact it's having on the TLC that's currently out at this point. And it was, because it's doing that now. It's not as quite as extreme as what they did with the Assault TLCs with the 106, but it's the same. It's the same thing. It's just, but we'll get into that as far as pushing players to complete and escalate 2 hulls per raid series. Because
yeah, I mean, it's a given now. We need both hulls every time.
Yeah. Yep.
I don't like that. I don't like being forced to build the 2 hulls. It pisses me off.
Oh yeah, it pisses everybody off. I mean, that's part of the. And the thing is, if you only had time to focus on one of them, you're essentially locked out now.
Well, yeah, this is what I was explaining trying to explain to Rampage earlier on. Basically, that obviously because I've had a lot of time off the game, everybody knows that, and I've come back, and I come back at a time where all of the TLCs were locked with Phoenixes and Skyfires, right? So you had to have all of those 2 hulls to be able to do any of the TLCs for me to catch up. So, I could only build the hunters or the fangs because of the fact that my shipyard was busy trying to get some Phoenixes and some Skyfires on the go so I can hit titanium targets, so I can do TLCs, etc., etc. So now, because I've only built the hunter, I'm in the same boat as I was before. I'm not progressing any, and just in that horrible pain loop, and it makes you feel like going, what is the point? Because I'm not getting anywhere. I'm working my ass off for everything, and I'm not getting anywhere. And when you've got a hull that's just done the last raid set perfectly fine with the targets, I scored over 500 million points in the raid. So, to me, I have no reason to build the fangs if my hunters are doing the job in the raid cycle, and I should assume that the TLCs would be the same way as well, which is quite clearly not the case. So I think that a lot of people that were in that boat and a lot of people that have built just hunters are kind of feeling rather angry at the minute. And it's not very good for progression. It's not very good for progression of the game, and it's definitely not good for retention of players either.
No, I agree.
In my opinion.
And I've constantly questioned once they started this wall up and separating things, and then making it, exacerbating it now, because I was hoping that they would figure out a way to like push these targets towards each other. You know, make them more.
Well, you know what I mean. I mean,
challenging for both, but not impossible for one.
Yeah, I mean, basically, it's like Doctor said. You know, it should be the same target. They should be tuned to a way that the auto hull is going to take more damage than the skill hull. You know, and that's a given because that's the way it should be. The trouble is that now you're not only just locking it to classes, you're locking it to specific ships, and that is not very good for the player base at all. You know, there's a lot of things that, you know, chore fleets and things like that that you need to progress. I mean, it's all right saying, oh well, you've got the Huggies Yard now, so you can build your PvP ships in that. Well, yeah, that's fine, but you still need titanium to use the fucking thing. So if you haven't got bloody chore fleets built, you've still got to build the chore fleets in the current shipyard, which is where you're going to build your raid fleets. So you're still screwed. So, you know, got to think about that as well at the same time. And obviously they haven't.
Yeah.
I think there's going to be a bit of a backlash from it as well.
Yeah, no, I understand what you're saying, and I completely agree. I thought they had some magic plan to sort of merge them back together for the TLCs and things, but it doesn't appear that they have. Unless they're going to run the same TLC next week for hunters. You know, it's baffling that the path that they've taken.
If they've set two sets of targets up for the raid, then put two sets of targets in the fucking TLC. Because all they're doing is they're just.
I mean, yeah, it's not only the TLC though. When the skirmish targets hit the map, right? Like, are we going to have two top end targets, or is the top end target going to be locked to just one hull? Yeah.
Yeah, or do they have one target that's good for both of them? Like I have not hit the VXP, the old VXP skirmish target, the 100 with a hunter. Does it work with hunter as well as it does? I'm wondering if that's going to be one of the targets that we see. It was the second target in the current TLC. I've never hit that with a hunter. Have you? I'm assuming you have, Irv.
No, I didn't know because I bought a VXP token package.
Oh, so. but I mean, you hit the current. You hit the current TLC, the target with the whole line of just a single line of ships.
Yeah.
Are you talking about the 102 uranium?
No, I'm talking about like what's in the current TLC. That was also the VXP target. You just launched in a different place than the VXP target. The old 100 VXP target for skirmish. It's now in the TLC. Have you done the TLC, George?
No, I haven't. I mean, okay. I did the very first target just to mess around to see if a certain glitch was fixed, which it wasn't, but, you know.
Yeah. The next target is...
I know which one you want about as well.
Well, the thing is, they made that glitch very... They made it very apparent, especially with the launch places currently, because
your ships automatically go there.
Yeah. It's kind of like, it's not like, you know, rocket science, you know, because I have one ship that's headed right through the wall at the bottom.
And then the other, and the thing is they knew. I had a video of it last raid, and I'm like, that sucked because I tried to do it on auto, and you end up in the cloud, and I'm like, you motherfucker, are you serious? And I saw it as the first target. I was like, let's see what, if it still works. It really does still work. I was like, you got to be kidding me. You couldn't fix that in 2 months? Damn. So I just...
well, if there's a reason to fix it. I mean, it's not really. I don't know. Is there a reason to fix it?
Yeah, at this point, no. I mean, the raid's over.
Yeah.
During the raid, you would go in there and sneak through that little gap in the clouds and kill all the gluttonies and, have some fun.
How many gluttonies can you kill? Because I've been more...
I could kill all but the one all the way on the left because you have to go through the fleet to get to that one.
Okay. Right.
Yeah, and I think you got, was it like it's 125,000 points or something?
Oh, I don't know. I just wanted to see if I could do it, and that was it. And I didn't.
I know that a lot of people were gutting them because you're getting like 125,000 points for no damage. So it's better than hitting 45s and stuff.
Yeah, it seems like we might have, according to chat, it seems like we might have a hot fix going on at this point. I'm not sure what it's for, but it'll be curious to see what's going on.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
This suit me is all the ships are docking with the force refresh, so there must have been a hot fix for
Well,
something.
it might have to do with the UI on the expeditions, because I mean that thing came out confusing as all hell.
Yeah, it also might be for the prize pack for.
Oh, really? Why? What
Yeah.
happened?
Sorry, the Forsaken Mission prize pool 4. You can't.
Oh yeah.
The chest.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They're having a problem. Kixeye is having a problem with.
Uh-oh.
I'm
What
sorry.
happened?
I actually somehow pushed. I'm saying Kixeye is having a problem with the elite chest.
That you can't claim it or
BPC
something?
BPC is not having a problem with the elite chest. So, if we're done with Fall of the Wall,
Do we have an elite chest to reference here, or I mean, you know?
oh yeah. It's coming along. I'm just teasing it. You know.
Okay.
Yeah. VXP weekend. This is your chance to rank your Buccaneer as well as your brand new Hydra Siege Hall.
Which I haven't
That's going
seen
to
yet.
change. That's
Yeah.
going to change.
Yeah.
From Friday to Monday. I really don't like the fact that they call it Robots Raiders because it doesn't say that in the game, and they keep on saying that. Unless they change it this time.
That was a forum.
Yeah,
That was a forums thing. The
it's a
reference.
forums thing, but as far as like players understanding it,
Yeah,
you know, it's
it's an old reference. It's an old reference.
Well, it's Earth. You know, they took away Earth's target.
Yeah, you can't call it Robots Raiders just because he was the CM when he was there. They were blatantly named after me, so there you go.
Yeah. The 100s, which is going to be a siege style target, will only it's going to spawn for 36 hours. You cannot retreat again. Oh,
Did you happen?
It'll pay out 3 Defender class VXP tokens of 10K each, which is that's a definite bump because it was 1 before, but they're doing this right at the beginning.
Who's going to be able to kill this thing?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm wondering if it's going to go 3.
And on top of it, we got that little pop up today saying, "Oh, if you kill one of the VXP targets, you get 3. I think it was 3 1-day.
3 1-day skirmish build tokens.
Yeah. Who the hell's going to be able to kill this fucking thing?
Yeah, but it says any target. It says any VXP target, so that would include an Earth as well, I would assume.
I hope. I have a feeling that it won't, but you know.
Well, I have a feeling it won't. But if it does, I'll be putting a ticket in and saying,
That's not a bad idea. That's not a bad idea at all.
Which line are you reading from?
It was from the pop-up
game.
Yeah.
Oh, and the pop-up. Okay, I'm sorry.
And I didn't get a bloody picture of it. So if anybody got a screenshot of that, send it over to me because I would like to use it in future reference.
Okay.
I have got a screenshot of that. I shall send it to you immediately.
Awesome. You rock.
Very nice. I'm a little anxious about this target because there's a lot of bad factors combining for this VXP weekend. One, the Buccaneer has a repair efficiency of 0.8.
Shit.
Yeah. And so it's going to take you 3 hours and 20 minutes to repair a single ship with only 15,000 armor. Historically, siege targets, I think there was one exception, only pay VXP associated with damage taken.
Yep, you're right. There's only been one siege target that they were able to figure out how to give us VXP from the buildings. So we're fucked in this.
Yeah. This is not going to be for the faint of heart as far as trying to rank up all your ships.
Good luck doing a defender unless you spawn right next to a turret. You know, your defenders are just going to sit there for the whatever time because you can't retreat either.
Yeah. I mean, this is. I wish they'd explain more associated with this, because that would. Because I'm at a loss with, like, how are we supposed to move forward with, because I was going in and out, how many coins are they expecting to generate? Because this is, unless they've changed the target, it would have been so nice in somewhere in this post that it would have said, you can do damage. You will get VXP for damage done with these siege style targets. I mean, because basically I'm keeping all of my FM tokens for my Buccaneers, and I'm holding on to them to see what goes on with this target. Because right now I have I have 3 basically blanks. I got 1 that's basically, it's got a couple of pack cannons on it and whatnot, and I'm going to keep a hold of the my build tokens associated with the FM and the ones I have left over from the raid, in case I found out if I do damage, I get VXP. I'm going to use those build tokens in order to throw some, I'm going to throw some cannons and a nuclear accelerator onto my ships in order to do damage. But right now, it's a wait and see game, at least for me personally. And I would use up those tokens in order to, provide my Buccaneers with the ability to do damage.
I mean, I just the whole bloody thing is it's the pieces are coming together to be a perfect storm this month. I mean, we have an off VXP weekend. We have a hull that we have a questionable special on that I think the biggest problem with that special is it's either the target's going to do one or the other in terms of a mechanic in it, where that special is going to either be absolutely needed or it's going to be an absolute fucking piece of shit. And you know what? It's something that we really need to know.
Yeah, and a question in YouTube chat: are you saying that ships get killed without causing damage, get no VXP? No, I'm saying that the only way that they get VXP is taking damage or potentially getting killed.
Yeah, unless there are torpedo turrets in the target, you could go in and, like, if it's just turrets and just buildings, you go in and level the entire thing and take 0 damage. You're going to get 0 VXP.
But if they still have it geared like they did last raid, where you get more VXP for damage done than you do for damage taken,
you're screwed like hell.
Yeah, we're totally screwed.
So effectively, you're just getting half of the VXP that you would.
A quarter.
We're getting less than half.
And then you're going to get half again. Yeah.
Less than half, because historically, siege, our raid hulls have had a repair efficiency around 0.45. That's been sort of the sweet spot that they've gone to. Now they've jumped it all the way up to 0.8. So almost double the repair time that we've seen previously since the last siege cycle. And so, yeah, we're asked to get paid twice. This is like, they need to fix this, because we're basically, I think George said a quarter, and I agree completely, because basically you're only getting paid in VXP for damage taken, not damage done, because that's a 50-50. You get both, but then your repair time is twice as long. And so it's not good unless they fix something with this target. I mean, if they can't fucking figure out how to include the buildings and doing damage to buildings gives you VXP, at least up the limit as far as how much VXP you can get per encounter. When I say per encounter, entering a target and exiting a target. Because if it's the way it's gone on historically, personally, what I would do is I would just put, and again, I haven't seen the target. I would put some sort of engine on it, at the very least, and go into range of something, take some amount of damage, a third of your health, if that's even possible, and then get out of range of everything, and then go back in. Because sometimes
Yeah, but you're gonna have to let it time out.
Yeah, you can't retreat.
Yeah, but okay. Yeah, I'm not saying it's a good solution. I'm giving you the poor man's solution. If you're not going to want to coin this stuff, then you go get a beer. You smoke a cigarette. You watch some TV. Watch a little midget porn, and then you come back, and then you enter that target again. And that's, but I'm not.
I agree with George.
So you heard it here.
I think we've got the perfect storm
Enter
brewing.
into the target. Go and get yourself a beer, knock one out, then come back.
See, and that's I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, okay, so he's gonna shotgun a beer while he's smoking something, and then watching midget porn, rubbing one out, and coming back. That's an awful quick, like 10, 15 minutes there. That's a lot, man. Congratulations.
Efficiency is
Yeah, that's multitasking right there.
yeah, it's multitasking. Yeah. That's why people watch the show, trying to become more efficient and multitasking the game. And I think I provide a solution. What?
I said, be like Hefe.
Yes,
I don't know. I don't want to know what any.
Back on the subject. I agree totally with George that I think we got the perfect storm brewing, and it would only be fitting for the year we've had in this game for them to totally have a totally fucked up into it.
I mean, look, man, we have this thing saying that the Hydra is going to be out here for VXP weekend, and surprise, it's not. I don't see a TLC. Right? VXP starts tomorrow, right?
The Hydra won't come out till the 29th.
So, yeah, we have that issue. And then the catch is we're coming up to the January raid. I mean, did I see something about CICs too somewhere?
Yeah, they're going to be in the January raid.
Okay, so we're getting the hull now after VXP, but before the raid with no CICs. What the hell? So we're essentially saying to everybody, hey, unless you got the Buccaneer, you're not playing the raid.
Well, no, they're doing the same thing. They're doing the same thing they did last siege time, remember, with the Cannoneer? They didn't give us a special for the Cannoneer until what? A couple days before the fucking raid?
That was the cannon.
Yeah, but I mean, they're pulling the same stunt all over again. They didn't learn from their past mistakes.
This is Kickstarter. You expect them to learn from past mistakes?
Well, the problem is, at least in my opinion, is the fact that they turn people over and give them different jobs and promote them out of what they're good at, or they lay them off.
Yeah,
and so there's a lack of continuity, I think, in some of what we're seeing that, at least longer time players see as like, oh, why are they doing this? This is what they did before. And it's because, somebody wants to bring a new voice or whatever you want to call it to the game. And it's not what, it diminishes the amount of trust that the players have because they're used to, even though it's a very muffled voice, as far as like the progression of the game. But yeah, I don't know.
Well, how about add to the fact that we just come off a 6-day raid, so a lot of players are fucking burnt. We got to do the VXP weekend. We got the TLC dropped on us, and they're talking we're going to do bounty next week.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Yep. All right, Irf. Let's go to the next slide because otherwise we're gonna have a 2-hour show just with the slides. Oops. I guess I didn't. The animation's not working. Can you
That's
take that and pull that down? Oh no, never mind. That makes sense. Oh no, I'm sorry. You're right. The TLC that they were talking about earlier, that you could rank up your
Hydra.
new, yeah, your Hydra is not happening this week. So yeah, let's move on to another slide.
That's phenomenal.
Expeditions.
Alrighty then.
I'd go on an expedition for her.
Okay. All right. I'm not sure what
Knowing
was.
Doctor's friggin' luck, she's a trainee.
Oh,
It's a possibility.
Just ruined it for you.
Or maybe he's a tranny.
well, then I'd give her your address, George.
I'm all set.
So, yeah, I mean, I didn't really want to talk about expeditions. We talked about it a little bit. The payoff to time is way off. The
Well, now see, I have a question there. Which number are you looking at for the payoff?
I'm taking like their original number and then I'm multiplying by 500%, multiplying by 5 times. I'm looking at what's in the game, and it takes like 3 days to, hit a single high-end target. I'm not sure who this is meant for. I can assume that expeditions are meant for low-level players.
Not with those targets.
No.
Well, not with those targets, but as far as like the payout, it's meant for low-level players.
Well, I mean, I think that it was meant for a fleet that's just sitting in your dock, right?
Oh yeah.
But the problem is,
we only have 120 slots in our dock.
Right.
So if you want to send your Apollos out, you probably don't have Apollos anymore. If you want to send out your Punishers, you probably don't have Punishers anymore. There's like, maybe you could send out your Ironclads, but who has 5 Ironclads? Because you need to have a full fleet. It's been poorly.
You got to be able to do it.
It's shit. Let's just stop being about the bush. It is shit. Completely and utterly shit. Pointless, worthless. It's just no point in doing it whatsoever. The payout's not good enough. You can lose your fleet for 3 fucking days just to top up. My personal favourite was losing my Holox Cannoneers fleet, right, for 2.5 days, just for 600k of base parts, which I can get in about 8 minutes. So,
yeah,
this is true. But I mean, if you're not going to be using it, I guess it's an option. The other thing too is that's only the total for the 3 days. It's not the total for the entire time that it's gone.
What does that mean?
Well, it goes out in series. So like if you have this is why I wanted to see if someone had one running so I could walk it through. Like if you have it out on cycle 1, it's going out on cycle 1 at like 500%, right? That'll be done on whatever amount of days is based on how well you did in the target. Cycle 2 starts and it's going to have 250% bonus, and you're going to get that amount after the next 3 days or whatever it is that you earn.
But again, so you're already talking like 6 days, right?
Oh yeah, at least. I'm assuming it's out for a week.
So this is like, if we had 500 dock slots, that would make sense. But people have scrapped these ships that aren't useful anymore. And now they're introducing this, which is like, oh, your useless ships, throw them here. But they got to be good useless ships.
Right, they're not useless. That's the problem.
Yeah, I mean, there's something broken associated with this whole thing, and
you got to spend gold to get the second card. That's ridiculous.
Well, is it 500 gold? So you need to spend $50 to do what?
200. Yeah.
Oh, is it 200 gold now? Okay, I swear I thought 500
to be able to send a second fleet out, but the second fleet will not be able to run on the same queue as the first one. So if you launch the second fleet, it's automatically dropped down to the 250 bonus instead of the 500 bonus.
Yep. Yeah. So you're paying 200 gold to get a worse income.
Yeah. I consider this like an example of too many cooks in the kitchen. Somebody had a good idea at the beginning, And then everybody else got in a group and had a little meeting, and they just completely fucked it up.
Yeah.
I mean,
This
that's
certainly is not what it was built to be. They built this to be something that was going to help us reduce our chores. This is not going to reduce our chores.
Right. I mean, just to point out too, I think that second slot is a one-time payment. You don't have to do it every week.
oh, thank
Once you
God
open
for,
it,
for,
yeah.
for
I'm
Well,
not
yeah,
going to
but
spend 200. I'm not going to
Oh
spend.
no, I understand. I don't expect anybody to spend. I don't expect anybody to spend any gold on this thing because the way it came out is not at all what was expected. I mean, this was supposed to. The community was complaining that there's too many chores. Right? We can't concentrate on actually playing the fucking game. I can't go and hit bases because I need titanium. Like right now, I'm on the show and I'm thinking in my back of my head, both of my friggin' shipyards are empty. I need to go get fucking titanium. I need all this shit to do. And when I get on, I'm like, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm not gonna be able to do anything else. I can't go and
Yeah.
friggin' hit bases. I can't go. I can't do the
the
TLC.
only time this is ever going to be useful, right, is before a 6-day fucking raid or over the
And
raid.
they'll probably shut it off for that.
Yeah,
They'll
they probably
shut it
will.
off for that. Or when you're on vacation. That's the only two reasons that it's any good whatsoever.
yeah. I think they're on vacation together. Maybe that.
I mean,
sense.
look, here's the thing. If the low payouts were because we were able to use older fleets, in which case these fleets would be able to walk it, right? then that's fine. But you can see when you click on the expedition thing, you can actually see what the rating is for that expedition, and then you go and click on your fleet, and it'll tell you what your fleet's rated at, and we're not going to be able to use any of the old fleets. We have to use our top fleets,
Well,
which are still being used for TLCs.
to be fair, my Apollo's actually done the titanium one for cheaper than what the Phoenixes do it. So, which is quite odd.
Well, now my Phoenixes, I did it with my Phoenixes, and I did it for 23% damage.
Yeah, I done it for hardly anything with my Apollos, but then I kind of played it a bit with the Apollos because you can jump into each of those there's like little circles in there, and it shrouds your fleet up to reduce your damage. So you got to play it well.
All right. So I guess it'll give me
Still...
move on, or if this is my this is a picture from Friday night. I was wide eyed, and All right.
FM prizes.
Hello. I want her as an FM prize. Hell yes.
Yeah, like I said earlier, Kixeye is having a problem with the elite chest currently, unless that's what the hot fix that the Suits Me mentioned, that you can't. I've never stored any of the elite chests. I never had more than one at any point in time. I can't claim it. So as a to help the community, I provided them with one. But
I mean, you gotta be careful if that chest hits you in the eye. I mean, you might poke an eye out.
Yeah. So I've just provided the community with the elite chest that Kixeye is not able to provide. So, but basically, what happens if you click on it, unless this has been fixed?
I just checked it; it's not fixed.
Okay. Yeah, you cannot claim this. This is the chest at tier 4, which gives you a 2-day build token, and for some reason it can't be claimed at this point. Has anybody filed a ticket and got a response?
Nope.
Okay. All right.
I filed a ticket. I don't think I've got a response yet. I'll have a check in a second.
Okay. All right. Well, I guess we can move on to the next slide. Not much to talk about with this. There's not a lot to talk about with the FM prizes in general. All right. George, you know what that word means, don't you?
Fuck is this?
You know what the word means, though, right?
Recondite?
Yeah.
weird. No, not weird. Odd outlier. I don't know. It's something
Like
around those things.
unknown,
Arcane.
obscure, like nobody knows
Okay,
about. Yeah,
Arcane. Okay, Arcane. All right.
yeah,
It was something like that. Something out
Yeah,
there.
and that's what I think. It's definitely that. I mean, it fits.
What the
It
hell?
fits what.
Arcane has a scrambling effect built into the explosive charge. I haven't even seen the damn notes yet. Like, I mean, I
Well, in the notes it states that this is supposed to be to upgrade your icebreakers. But I don't see how this rocket is any way better than the V's that we currently are using.
I mean, unless that reduced reload effect is,
It stacks.
I mean, I mean, it stacks, but for how much? Like, is there a finite limit, or is it like, hey, you got hit with like 100 of these things, you're not reloading for the next hour?
Yeah. That's one of the things that we don't know. I mean, that's
Shocker.
but it's well, we're not going to bring up the shocker on this show. But as far as what's going on here, as far as reduced reload effect, does it max out at 25, or can we keep stacking these things until he's not going to fire off he's not going to fire off his gun for another year.
Yeah, no, I think it's just 25%, which isn't even all that much unless,
Well, that's what I'm saying, unless they stack.
I just don't see how this is an escalation weapon for the icebreaker.
Oh, it's not, because it's a specially niche weapon.
But that's what they bill it as. I read it. It stated this is to upgrade and strengthen.
Don't read the internet. It's full of lies. But yeah.
Just as an update on the chests for T4. Hi, Steve. Thanks for writing in. Our team is looking into reports like this and should be hopefully getting it fixed as soon as they can. Thanks for your patience as they tinker with this. So they do know.
Okay. Did you send them the picture?
Not yet.
Okay. I think you just send them the picture.
What if this
you might get more gold if once they figure it out.
Obviously, if he sends them the picture, then they'll never get the damn thing fixed.
Whatever.
This would be useful if it had a slowdown effect instead of a reload effect, just like the lockdown rockets. And you could put it on your hope.
Yeah, but that's not what it was built for. I mean, they said it was for the icebreaker. Why would you put a slowdown effect on the icebreaker? You're in garrison targets. You don't need a slowdown effect.
Well, I think it's just to slow down those UAVs, you see. Stop them from launching at you as quickly if you can't shoot them all down by putting antis on your fleet.
Yeah, but have you seen how fast those things reload? If this thing doesn't stack at all and it's just the 25%, it's pointless.
Well, exactly. Yeah.
I don't understand some of the crap that they release. I mean, it's a great idea. Don't get me wrong. I like the idea behind it. It's just it's not practical in the game.
Has anybody realized as well?
Is it really worth losing the speed boost that you get from the V rockets to put this on? And
I'd probably only swap one. Steve, what did you say? I'm sorry.
I'm just saying, has anybody noticed the fact that everything seems to be looking very tribal, kind of like Aztec-y and stuff like that?
Yeah. Now that you said it, yeah.
Yeah.
That does remind me of like an Aztec. Huh.
Yeah, with that, and then like the hull that they've just released, the Buccaneer looks a bit like it. If you like put it on its base, if you look straight down at it, it's kind of
It looks like an insect. It looks like a roach, but yeah, not that kind of roach. The insect one. But yeah, I mean the damage does not add up. The only reason to put this on your hull would be the special ability, and I don't think anybody knows at this point in time how this potentially stacks. I mean, there's -25 the max, or are you, like we said, are you going to send people, they're not going to be able to reload for days. And I doubt that's going to be the case. So potentially, you know, we haven't seen this in action, so we can definitely go on. But I consider it a. We should have a vote on. We should have some sort of mechanism as far as.
Can we have a vote?
Is this a token blocker? This is just. Is this just a pure token blocker?
Well, no, I reckon we just have a vote as to what is the shittest thing that they've released this week. It's going to be really hard.
Well, we got to show the other two items first.
Yeah, you can't do it on the first item. Yeah. So move on, Earth. Yeah. We can have the vote. We can have the vote later, but I'm not getting rid of the idea of the vote. And you can just push the space button. I think it'll move it. All right.
Yeah, I've opened it up in a different window so I can keep an eye on chat and everything else and play the game and speak at all at the same time. So.
All right. Token blocker?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So this is a turret special, that 45% explosive and 45% corrosive. So yeah, it's there. Now you have it in your
Well, it's protecting you from both
No, this is not a turret special. Notice that it's only 12%. It's armor power.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but it's protecting you from phantom, the gluttonies that are no longer viable, and for bus fleet that's no longer really viable. It's explosive and corrosive defense. What's not to like about that?
Yeah. I'm sorry I didn't get the build time, everybody, but I wasn't sold on this. Oh yeah, and actually I can't do it until I own it. But yeah. Okay, we can move on to the next one, I think.
Okay. Warhead Reloader.
I actually like this one. This would be the first one I would claim. I'm not saying I love it, but I actually like at the bottom, the additional explosive damage I like.
Would this stack with the new special that came with the Hope?
Yeah, it also stacks with the cluster warheads.
Oh.
Yeah, but you can only get so much freaking reload on a rocket. Rockets only start out with 2.
But the reason I liked it is because of the explosive damage. Getting through, trying to figure out ways to get through deflection. The explosive damage of plus 25% is helpful. I mean, it's out of the 3, this is my favorite.
Yeah, out of the 3, I'll give you that.
Okay.
But we can't. We cannot really say token blocker anymore. You know that, right? Because you only got to claim 1 prize and you can get your tokens. So you don't have to claim all 3 anymore. So.
Yeah, but it's still it's still a token. This is the one I would claim at this point because it does stack with other stuff for your hope or whatnot. It's not awful. The rest of them, I'm not sure how I would ever use.
The thing that it doesn't stack with, which kind of sucks, is the Delta V. It doesn't stack with it.
Okay.
So obviously, because the Delta V gives you 60% explosive damage, 50% splash. So it would have been nice if it had stacked with that. Would have helped a little bit more towards the new Conquerors that we're going to get onto in a minute.
Okay. So, yeah, as far as everybody's vote, this is the one you want to claim first, right?
Oh, I'm gonna have to test out that rocket special just to see. You know what I mean? If you put like 1 on each of your ships, see how that's going to actually affect the play. Because if it does actually significantly reduce those damn UAVs, then I would have to say the rocket. But otherwise, if it doesn't really have much of effect, then definitely this.
Okay. All right. Let's go to the next one. Because at some point I need to get a beer soon, so I need to find a slide. Dr. Death and George and Earth are all worked up. Oh, there we go. Here's our new Siege skill hall.
Yeah, that is a write-up. They said we would be able to rank this weekend. So does that mean they're going to give it to us for free before we get the DLC?
Yeah, that's what they say. But you again, Dr. Death, you cannot believe the internet. And, we learn that every day on the forums, that you cannot believe the internet. And so we basically have a launcher hall. The Buccaneer has a -5 radioactive range. This has a +5. We're going to have a slide in a minute. Don't go to it yet. But basically discusses like the differences between the two of them. Without seeing the targets, it seems like a good haul, right? I mean, it's sort of surprising that the fact that it's another. The special abilities are a little surprising because it appears to be like another stacking haul. It's almost. I don't know if it's surprising to people, but as far as
it's the same again. It's only going to be any good if you've got 4 or 5 of them. Then crap again. Force you to build a whole fleet. Yeah. I don't know.
It has the same build time and the same repair time as the Buccaneer. But it's going to be released next week in a DLC called, I forget the name of it, because they originally released it. They originally said it was going to be this week, but that changed.
Yeah. I wonder why.
Yeah, so we can put in VXP weekend. Yeah, so we were forced to use the other hall.
Well, not only that, but you're not going to have the CIC for it either. So until the next raid.
Yeah, they're just putting it out there so that you can coin it ready for next raid.
Yeah, I didn't notice it had like a little patch in behind that something is supposed to be there, right?
Yeah. I mean, that's the point. I mean, we have no idea what the CIC is about, so yeah. George, any thoughts on this one?
No clue. I would like to know a lot about the CICs at this point.
Yeah, but any thoughts on the hall? I mean, actually, make another clicker.
1 second.
Okay.
No,
all right. The stat lines on the left are the new Hydra. The ones on the right are the Buccaneer.
So let's see. One of the things that stands out right now is that radioactive range on the Hydra, where I think on the Buck, it's -5.
+5 versus -5. That's what I brought up earlier. Yeah.
So range is going to apparently be a huge issue. Even though the Buck has more native radioactive damage, that's interesting. Less building damage though. So with the Hydra having that much building damage buff, I wonder if the shockwave isn't going to be as important, unless it's going to be a. What else do we have for radioactive? It's usually launchers, or I mean, that thing looked like a
throwers. Yeah, throwers.
No, it could be throwers. Yeah, I guess it could be throwers.
But look at the innate defense that these two holes have. The Buck, hands down, has better defenses against both ballistic and radioactive than what the.
Well, again, that goes to the skill and the range thing.
No, the Hydra's on the left. The Hydra, and as far as what Dr. Death said, it's
okay.
Yeah, the Hydra is on the left, which is the skill hull it's supposed to be at range.
Oh my.
Has better defenses.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
That's not a good sign.
yeah, it's interesting.
It's got better range and
Yeah,
well,
better defenses. Yeah,
what's the range on the buck with the cannon? If you
Oh, the
put a
cannon's
nuke,
50.
so it's at 100, right? And what do we usually have for launches? Launches are usually even better at range, right?
no. The buck with the cannon is not 100.
It's
Oh.
90.
Oh,
It's 95.
It's 95.
Yeah, 95.
And launcher and throws are usually what?
98.
No, yeah, okay. Basically, the Hydra is going to have a range of 100, and then that's because it has the +5 radioactive range.
Yeah.
So it's tricky to figure out what the target's going to be based on what this.
So and here's the other thing too that I question is like the combat speed on the buck is 33. The combat speed on the Hydra is only 28. But you drive the skill hull and the AI drives the auto hull. Why in the hell do you want more speed on the auto hull? Because you're not going to be kiting anything with the fucking thing.
But you're not. Take a look over on the right hand side with the special abilities. Every one's going to add 20%.
Yeah.
But it should be building, damn it. Buildings don't walk or move.
You're trying to avoid damage, dude. They shoot at you, don't they?
Yeah.
I mean, that's...
Yeah. If it's a dumbfire weapon, yeah, combat speed comes in handy.
Well, just about anything,
Yeah.
unless it's I mean, what's gonna... We got ballistic that could follow you, right? We got ballistic and radioactive. I mean, yeah. Unless there's a lot of shockwaves. You can avoid the shockwaves, right? No, you can't, because that procs off of the target. I don't know. I don't understand that combat speed.
Well, it'll be to outrun cannons, won't it? Combat speed will be to outrun the cannons. You're going to get a higher base combat speed on the auto hull, but
Yeah.
it's not a stat that you're really going to pay any attention to. But on the skill hull, obviously having more in there and boosting your combat speed is going to allow you to get away from dumbfire weapons. So
yeah, hopefully there's a lot of dumbfire weapons in it then. I mean, the other issue too that I have, and I don't know if anyone else noticed it, but when we have raid targets, I mean, I think they tune each target to counter whatever speed we have, because my fleets, when I take them in different targets, are different speeds, and that's starting to really annoy the shit out of me. Why don't you just make it speed 25 if that's what you want me to have, instead of taking my 45 or 50 and cutting it in half in the raid target. Like I don't understand what the deal is with that. I don't know. These stats are... I thought we were getting less complex, right?
Yeah, it ain't less complex.
I mean, if the one on the right is the auto, it's got worse defensive stats, and it has negative stats in areas too. Which
yes, you won't be able to use it in any place else in the game.
Well, I mean, the way that they're designing these things, we're not supposed to anyway. So why even put those in there? Like, I don't understand that. It has a higher tactical field resistance than the Hydra. I wonder how much that's going to come into play. What's tack resistance? Tack resistance doesn't do anything to shock waves. It does stuff to ice. Does it do anything to ice fields and fire fields?
Yeah,
doesn't it?
It gives you resistance to those, resistance to slow down and stuff like that as well.
What about to damage from them though?
It does. It stops. It reduces the damage from fire fields, doesn't it? I think.
That's what I'm trying to figure out. Because that's... I mean, that's a decent 10% difference in tack field resistance is pretty big. And then the auto hull has less structure deflection too. Why? I don't understand this.
Because if you're going to be lazy, then you're going to take more damage.
Well, it's not going to be a matter of lazy because they're going to give us two different targets.
It's
It's
supposed to
going
be auto, yeah. It's supposed to be auto.
I'm not
Punisher
building
looking-
both, but I'm going to build one or the other.
Yeah, Daniel, the Punisher looking thing is the new Conqueror, man.
Oh.
The one,
I thought,
the one in the TLC, you mean?
yeah, I thought it was a new generalist because
No.
it looked exactly like a Punisher.
Nope. Yeah, I mean, someone at the art department was just like, yeah, I don't feel like doing it this week. What do we got saved somewhere? I bet you money that was just saved somewhere.
On the Punisher and send it out.
No, I bet you it was saved somewhere as like one of the options that they had for skins or something, and they're just like, oh yeah, that looks good. We'll go with that.
All right.
I can see it.
Have we talked the Hydra versus the Buck?
We haven't talked about anything, man. It's been dead air until you got back.
No, I said I said if we talked this one out. Should we move on to the next slide?
I'd like to point one more thing out.
Sure, go ahead.
On last raid fleets, like the Fangtooth and the other ship, they were 2.5 hour repair times. Look at the repair time on that.
Yeah. I think we talked about it earlier as far as like it's 3 hours and 20 minutes with 15,000 armor points, which is a repair efficiency of 0.8, which really sucks.
Well, we talked about the repair efficiency, but we didn't point out to the player base that they would jump the repair time on the whole by almost an hour.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, because it's going to be in VXP weekend. You're going to have, if you have 4 of them, you're talking about like close to a 14-hour repair dead. So yeah, it's not good.
Because even when we take these into, think about it, when we take these into the raid, all right, even at half repair time, you're still looking at 8 hours, 8+ hours, 8 hours 40 minutes.
I'm not worried about the raid because they gauge things according to the hull. It's when you take these raid fleets outside of that arena. If you put them in the arena of VXP weekend, or getting sniped, or having a flash crash, that's when this number becomes a really big problem. It's not like if everything's working fine. It's when things are outside of its arena, how it's not supposed to be used, because this thing
outside the arena, 16 hours and 40 minutes for a full fleet of 5, right?
Yeah, for five. Yeah. Well, we haven't seen the flagship, which has a repair time of 7 hours and 18 minutes.
Mm.
Oh, you better find some wood and knock on it, because I tell you what, I won't go if that's what it is.
I made that number up, but yeah. This is a huge problem. That's why we were talking about in VXP weekend. This is like a storm coming. This is like the confluences of multiple bad things coming together.
Mm-hmm.
And this total repair time associated with the both of these fleets is not good.
Well, it's the repair time, and then just looking at some of these things, the skill hull has better stats, than the auto hull, except for the tack field resistance, right? So like, is that going to be the telling thing? Because the speed's higher on the, well, I don't know if it's going to be higher. I'd have to do the math, but I mean the base speed's higher. Like I don't know. Like this doesn't usually something will jump out and be like, hey, this is going to be it. The only thing that jumps out to me is the structure deflection disparity and the tack field resistance disparity.
And they aren't that large.
Well, the 10% for the tack field one is. I mean, that's a significant one. But the thing is how much of a difference is that going to make? Like, are we going to be sitting in fields all day to make the auto
if you
hull?
fuck up, you're in the field.
Yeah, I mean, because the auto hull. I mean, it's it's set it and forget it. That's the point.
Yeah.
Yeah, but let's be honest. Really, all auto hulls have never actually been full-on auto hulls. Really,
the Skyfire and the Skyfire and the Hunter absolutely positively was a fully on auto sold as is hull. That was
Yeah,
phenomenal.
I used it on auto through the whole raid.
I'm
But
not suggesting
outside
that.
the raid.
I'm more on about like last year with the auto hull siege kind of thing.
The
It's
ironclads,
no.
yeah, they sucked ass.
Yeah, ironclads, yeah.
Yeah, but the problem with the hunter is though it is worthless now as a auto hull outside the raid.
Yeah, it was only good for its tuned target, and that's the issue and I think I said it last night too, is, what happens when these targets hit the map? Are we going to have like two, S targets on the map, one for the Fang and one for the Hunter? Because otherwise, you just fucked a whole lot of the community.
Well, yeah, because if you've got a hull that works for doing something, you don't want to build two if you've got one that works for it. Yeah.
Well, look, for the people that just built the Hunter, how are they going to do this TLC that's going on right now? Because
They're not, because I tried it earlier on and I got prize pack 1, number 1 and number 2, fine, fair enough. Took a bit more damage than what I would like to. Went into prize pack 3 and literally one depth charge wiped out the entire fleet. So that was that. I closed it down, aborted it, and that was the end of that.
It specifically says that you have to use Fangtooth too. So,
but it doesn't. It says recommended Fangtooth. So,
well, you know what? If it's as balanced of a target as the A sets were for the hunters, then you don't want to take the hunters into the things.
Yeah, I think we're gonna get into that issue in a bit. Do you want to go to the next one, Irf?
Yeah, sure.
Tell him no. Tell him no. Shit.
Whatever. All right. This is the weapon for that ship.
Oh yeah, so it is launcher. Okay.
Yeah, the range is that's special. Because in reality, once you put the special on, which we haven't got to, it's going to be 70 to 100 on the Hydra. But if you put it on the Buccaneer, it's going to be 70 to 90. So you're going to have a thin band. Relatively.
Well, now, do we know that the range bonus does not affect the minimum range?
It
I mean,
should.
if we got verification on that from Kickstarter that the range bonus will not affect the minimum range.
It's a visual glitch. Yes.
Because it could be 75 to 95, and that makes a tight window that you're going to have to drive that.
No, because just like with nuke accelerator, when you put it on a cannon, your minimum range doesn't increase. It just increases your maximum.
So, this is an interesting weapon. Once you add the reload time, because it's multi-shot, you don't have to worry about cycle time. You only have to worry about reload time. And there are some special, just sculling this gets it down to a reload time of 1. And then there's some specials that will quite a few specials that will up your reload. And they're stackable. One of them, which I'm sort of upset, was in Tech Up 3, which was like a fuck up 3 in my book, as far as the way it was conducted. The fact that you needed to
run the whole thing. Yeah,
you had to run the whole thing, and
Can we see the special? Can I see the special? I haven't seen these yet, so
okay. Irf, click over real quick, and then we'll go back.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just curious because now I'm kind of wondering.
There's an echo.
Increase the shockwave damage. I wonder if this should tell us whether or not the special for the Buccaneer was shit or not. Because if it's a shockwave damage of only 30%, but you have a radioactive damage of 40, but I don't see no critical there to double the stuff.
Yeah. No, because that was the point that I was going to get to. Could you go back to because the radioactive damage plus 30 and shockwave damage, radioactive plus 40, shockwave plus 30, and there's not that big of a difference between them.
But you have got, of course, the multi-shot from it as well. Don't forget.
No.
That's
I brought up the multi-shot, but there's not that big difference between the building damage and the shockwave damage. I mean, it's significant, but it's not what we're used to seeing, where the shockwave is like blows the damage out of the water. So it's tricky.
11.
I mean, you're expecting a shockwave every second, the way that I read this, right?
So the building damage on the pack 2 is 10.8, right? The building damage on this is 11.5.
Mm.
But then if you load up the specials on the pack 2, you're well over the, what would it be? 11.5, so 50 is like almost, so like 15-ish thousand with the special on this thing. So 15-ish, I mean, you way past that.
Yeah, but it just shows you
on a Buccaneer with.
Yeah, it just shows you that they're definitely going to do 2 different targets again, though, doesn't it? Because
yeah, but then what about the A sets? You know, I mean, that's supposed to be for both, and in that case, you know, you're not going to want, if you're going to be running A's with the Buccaneer, you don't want that special. You want a reload special. I mean, that makes no fucking sense to me.
No.
That is absolutely asinine.
Yeah, I mean, the other weird thing, you know, people are going to be put off by the accuracy of 25%.
But we have the special.
Accuracy doesn't matter against buildings, does it?
Exactly. You know, that's what I was put out. The accuracy doesn't matter against buildings, so they're putting that in there so this can't be used as a base defense fleet or.
Yeah, but you can't. You can only put it onto a siege class hull. Well, who's going to put a siege class?
But yeah, it feels like overkill, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, over-engineered to not be.
But I mean, the thing is, though, it's only got a fleet damage of 2,000, so you wouldn't use it as a base defender anyway, would you? So it's only good against buildings.
Yeah, it's.
This has me scratching my head pretty damn hard about the Buccaneer now.
I don't know. It's kind of odd. But hey, it's what it is.
Tis what it is.
Ready to move on? Ready to move on to the special, probably?
Sure. Yeah, it's
adds the multi-shot, adds the red, yeah.
And are all shockwaves the same as far as like the radius and whatnot?
Oh, you know what? I don't know. I don't know if the splash damage drop off is different. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. That's interesting.
The other thing to look at though too is that special is 35% weapon weight, and those weapons are 800 tons apiece.
Yeah, but they changed the dynamic with the new dock.
But for people who don't have the upgraded dock, they're not going to be able to build a full fleet.
Oh, everybody, hey, wake up! Upgrade your fucking dock. Okay. Taken care of, Dr. Death. You need to upgrade your dock if you want to participate in the next raid. Upgrade your dock. This is from Dr. Death. Does that work?
What the hell is the Boulder Fist?
Well, that's
whatever.
That's going to be the new Conqueror Hall.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah, that is. That's the Conqueror Hall and Bounty. Earn the Boulder Fist.
It's coming up.
Well, hurry the fuck up, dude! It's 7:30. I'm hungry.
Whatever, but yeah, the Boulder Fist it's not a as far as naming that. That's that's.
All right, we're moving on to March of War.
Okay, March to War. March to War. This is a current ongoing TLC. Recommended fleet is Fangtooth.
Don't send hunters in because it's just a instant repair bill.
If you got hunters, you're fucked. But I mean, pop to the next one, I guess.
Basically,
has anybody on the panel done the mastery round yet?
I haven't done any of this shit yet.
No. Basically, guys. Yeah, basically the the chain gun allows you on this hull to get like, is it 9 million damage?
We'll get to that. We'll get to that. We'll get. Oh,
Yeah.
that's
I want
The
the
reason
I
why
want
I was-
that.
the reason
Yeah,
why I was-
I want that wave motion gun right there.
kinetic motion gun. Yeah, the
Yeah,
that-
but the
But
reason,
again,
the reason
but
why I was
you
asking
guys
is
are
because-
cheating ahead. You guys are cheating ahead.
No,
Well,
I'm
move
asking a question
on.
about
Let's
this-
go.
about the March of War TLC real quick.
Let's
The
move it
reason why I
on.
wanted to know, I wasn't
Okay,
interested.
the
in this,
eviscerator.
I wasn't interested in the TLC, and you're jumping ahead of me now. See,
Hmm?
couldn't even let the
Say
point
it.
out.
Say it. Say it.
If I was trying to find someone that's done the mastery round, because it takes 7 to 10 minutes to do each combat encounter with the subs. And if we have 7 rounds like is traditional in a TLC, how are you going to do that in 1 hour?
There's 5, I think. I'm pretty sure there's 5. I'm
Yeah, I think it is
fairly
5.
confident that one of my friends bitched about something and said there was 5.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I think it's the S target from the last raid is the final thing.
Okay.
I believe.
Before I go get another beer, what's fucking
Already?
wrong with this picture?
Already?
What is wrong with this picture?
It's a Punisher with a skin on it.
No. What's wrong with this picture?
Underwater?
No.
Yeah, it's got underwater weapons. Yeah.
No.
Oh, the repair time.
Yes.
Whoa.
The total repair time has
That's
gone
been
from
fixed.
30
No, they
minutes to
fixed
3
that.
hours.
They
That's
Multiplied
been
by
fixed.
6.
They rolled out a hot fix.
That's
It's 30
been
minutes.
fixed, dude. That's been fixed for a while now.
Oh, okay. Oh, because I was like, Jesus Christ, they've completely changed the whole Conqueror thing. All right.
No.
I haven't been in the game for
Too
a
many
couple
beers.
hours.
Yeah, too many beers, dude. Well, why don't you just
No, that's too many beers. I'm not,
You
I've been
know-
in the game all the time. I mean,
But
30
that's all-
minutes.
Hefe, you know
This hole has been made to carry
you know
just
why
about
it's
any
3
weapon.
hours, I don't know. You know
What?
what's 3 hours? It's because they literally copy and pasted the Punisher.
It's not my fucking fault. I don't get paid 100 and some grand a year to run this fucking show. They could get this right eventually, but whatever. All right.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's
We'll
back down to
talk
30
amongst
minutes.
ourselves whilst you go and get a beer. Go on, go and fuck off and get a beer.
All right. Okay.
I'm all. I mean, is anyone else like just burnt out on Conqueror and Defenders now?
Yeah, I'm getting pissed off with it. I made it known as well earlier. I might have sent like about a 3.5-page rant to Rampage earlier about how we've only just had the Hope come out, haven't even managed to get it into the shipyard yet, and already this makes it obsolete because it's got 450,000 explosive deflection. Ballistic deflection of 83,600, 38,000 corrosive deflection, concussive deflection of only 23, which means the only thing that really is going to hurt this hull is Nightmare Torps on a Gluttony.
Yeah, but you're not going to be able to get a Gluttony close enough because of the thermal range.
Yeah, because you've got underwater weapons, so you're going to just put one sinful scouter on and bye-bye, see you later. So, yeah, it's a completely unbalanced hull.
I mean, all year long we've been bitching and moaning about the big ass swings back and forth, right? I mean, and now we've done the swings, what, 4 times in 3 weeks? The fuck?
Yeah, I mean, you know, with the writ, at least there was, if you were clever about it, there was a way of stopping it. To a certain
Well, now
extent.
this fleet can be built to walk pretty much any base, right?
Well, it can, yeah.
But you got the new
Because
turret
all you're
coming
gonna
out
do
that can
is-
stop this fleet. But next week you got the new hull coming out that can walk through the turret. So I mean, what difference does it make? We're swinging back and forth, so not even making it a week now.
Yeah, well,
It's-
there's no actual point in building this if you're gonna be doing bounty. Don't even bother with the TLC because this is not as good as
No,
the next
because
hull.
in bounty you'll only be able to claim 1 or 2 of the new hull.
Yeah,
So you build this, you claim these, and you put 3 of these behind the new hull, and you got click at the back of the base and go.
well, which is what everybody
Exactly.
wants, obviously, isn't it?
Isn't what everybody wants. Exactly what I said before. This is exactly what everybody's been waiting for. All the people that's been bitching, oh, PvP is dead. this is exactly what everybody's been waiting for. The I win hole. As soon as the I win hole's out, you're gonna see base hitting spike like crazy, and then once they counter it, it's gonna go away.
Well, see, the thing is, right, the way that I see it is I'm getting bored of it. I've always been a base hitter in this game. That's, I'm quite famous for it. I've used to smash entire worlds all of the time and everything else. I've been at the top of the game in the base hitting side of things, for a lot of the time that I've played the game. And it's boring me now because it swings one way to the other. You either can't defend
there's no
or you
balance.
can't attack, and it's just there's no balance whatsoever.
There's there's no challenge.
Yeah,
there's no
there's
balance.
there's no challenge in either defending or
No, there is no challenge because you put the latest and greatest base defense in and you stop everything, and then you build the latest and greatest base hitter and you walk through every base.
Right, but Glenn,
there's no challenge. In the old days, we used to have to pick a base apart.
Right, because there was balance. If there's no balance, then there's no challenge. If there's balance, there is challenge. That's the problem. Is it's unbalanced. It just swings to extremes instead of kind of hovering in the middle.
Which is why, right, I really, really, really did like the fact that the Phantom Glut come out, because I thought that was actually quite balanced. Because, if you built your base right with this tech that was already available, sonar on turrets and stuff like that, place them in the right places, have the right turrets in your base with the right setup, a nice long channel, stuff like that. It was balanced straight away out of the bat. And then they killed it with a Scourge Web. So, within a week, it was that was it. They've killed it. And now they've brought out the weapon to stop it. But if you haven't got Fangtooths, you can't get that weapon in order to stop it. So now you're a farm again. So, this is just. And they wonder why the PvP participation is so low when they're creating it by the way that they're doing the raids, where you need 2 sets of holes in order to do the raids. Right, so people that haven't got stuff needs to catch up in order to do chores. Have got to then choose, do I do the chores, which will enable me to do the PvP by getting titanium to do stuff in Huggy's yard at the same time as I'm building my raid fleets. Because really, unless you've got Huggies, all of your time really is spent building raid fleets in the game at the minute. And
what makes it worse is all of that. You take all of that, and then they, on top of it, exacerbate the entire situation by pushing bounty, which makes everything worse.
Now you're gonna see there's not gonna be a big participation in bounty because now there's an I win hole. There's no way to defend the hole against the hole. No one's gonna participate in bounty if they can't defend their base.
Why would they want to? I don't know.
Yeah, you're gonna see a big spike in base hitting, and you're gonna see a low participation in bounty because if you can't keep your bounty, then there's no point in doing bounty.
No, and what I found as well was last month was that I reached a point where I couldn't get any more bounty because people just weren't doing it.
Yep. I mean, what I found out the hard way last bounty was you got to start on the very first day and bank as much as you can, because I started late and I was struggling to get enough points at the end and keep enough points at the end to get the damn hull. And then we see it in the raid, and now we have this. And then next week it's like, okay, well, what are you going to do? You're either going to have 1 or 2 of these things to walk people and play nonstop the first couple of days, bank as much as you can, and then just, or do what like I saw a lot of this last bounty too, was, people that were not in the bounty were coming in and leveling people at the end of the night, and they'd stay flat until the next morning.
But you guys kicked me out because I was, questioning certain things. But you guys consider this an I win hall?
Yeah.
What about if you have like a Synquisitor.
The corrosive deflection's high enough for it not to batter.
Yeah, no, the max on the DOT is 100.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
DOT doesn't matter.
DOT,
It
why
does.
does
DOT
the
doesn't matter.
Why does that
The
matter?
corrosive deflection cuts it out.
Well,
It
100,000
mitigates
versus
it.
38K. I don't think it cuts it out.
It mitigates it.
It mitigates it, but yeah, it mitigates it. But it's only got 150,000 armor.
Yeah, and the sin will be dead long before anything.
No, this can't kill this. This can't kill the sin. This is a ballistic ship.
No, but
It's an anything
you gotta
ship.
look at the new weapon. The new weapon
an
that goes on
anything
this
ship.
ship does all types of damage. You're just gonna flatten the sin in one salvo.
Yeah. Click it one more time, Earth. This is the deflections on the bottom right. This is deflections if you put the sinful scattergun on the ship because it does fit.
No, but did you notice that cannon does all damages? Like it does everything?
Yeah, it does 150,000 of every type damage type.
Yeah, every damage type.
Yeah.
So no matter what ship you got in there, you got something's going to get through its deflection.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You had the right thing, Earth. Go to the weapon. Go to the weapon. We can go back.
Here we go.
Okay. So it has a salvo of 15. So it's doing 10,000 per salvo as far as deflection
of each
damage.
Weapon type.
Yeah. So it's doing 10,000 per weapon type. This isn't. I mean, what do you guys think about this? Because it can be boosted in certain ways. But it's
you can boost all of them. You can boost all of them.
But if you look at like tier 6.5 Conqueror defenders.
But you're going to get 5 times minimum damage even if you've got full deflection against it because it's one of each different weapon type.
Yeah, but still.
And every defender has at least one weakness that is under 10,000.
Mm-hmm.
And you are going to hit whatever that weakness is.
No, that's not true. Take a look.
A Synquisitor's got.
No, the 6.5
has got fuck all in radio.
Take a look at that. 6.5s don't have 10,000 at the bottom of any of them. I mean, it's like, how are you going to take care of the Omni? How are you going to take care of a Hope?
You don't give a shit about. You don't care about the Omni. The Omni's a countermeasure ship.
Yeah, and you don't care about the Hope because you're going to walk straight past it. You got 450 fucking explosive deflection. Plus, if you put the Sin scattergun on it, you're in like 600,000. So you're just going to walk straight past it. You put some of these on it. A Inquisitor, you're not going to worry about because you've got 150,000 radioactive damage and there's no radioactive deflection against it, which is what you're trying to say is what you want to, the only thing that's going to stop it is a Torp Glut. And you can just put one sinful fucking scattergun on there and that's the end of that. So it is literally walk past everything. You don't have to worry about Hope, just walk straight past it. Walk straight past anomalies, walk past anything, and just walk straight into the back. It's ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing that really, the only thing that's going to damage it is a Torp Glut, and it's going to be dead straight away because you've got 95 thermal on it. So. Anyway, you wanted this one, yeah?
Well, either that or we go back to the original one. As far as what people were discussing, as far as, the actual hull itself, I think is much more interesting as far as because with the concussive deflection the way it is, that can be beat right with the Omega as it is. As it is without anything additional added to it.
But you're not going to build it like that, are you, Jeff? Let's be honest.
I'm not going to build it that way. I'm just saying, as far as the base build, the Omega would chew this up and spit it out, right? But it's not going to be built that way. I mean, you're going to throw a bus in there, right?
Well, throw a bus in there, you get, 10K on top,
But
and then you're going to get.
the Omega is a dumbfire weapon, and the combat speed on this is high enough that you can stay ahead of it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This you can try as much as you like to say that it's balanced, and it's just not. There's no real weakness to it, to be perfectly honest.
How's this? A better way to say it is, in the hands of someone that can actually build a hull, this bitch is going to hurt.
But it has more weaknesses, I think, than the Kingsword, right?
No, it doesn't.
No.
Well, because everybody exploited the explosive deflection on the Kingsword, right? That's what you're saying.
Well, no, you find what's the weakness with each hull, don't you? And then you adapt to enable you to get to it. But you know, you can't get 207,000 penetrating damage to get through the deflection. You can't get 500,000 fucking explosive to get through the deflection. The corrosive's probably the only way of getting through it, but there's nothing that does damage that high other than the Sin Scattergun, and you've got thermal on it. And if you use the normal weapon, it does 150,000 damage per fucking reload of every weapon type. Then it doesn't really matter what you put it on; it's dead. And you've got the 95 thermal imaging range, so you know that basically cuts out your chance of doing any damage with torps on gluts. So really, what's its weakness other than that weapon that you can't get if you haven't got hunters?
Really, the only thing that's going to stop this ship is this ship.
Yeah, well, it's not even going to do that because you can't put anything on it big enough to kill off the other fucking ship, apart from the corrosive.
I think we'll see in a little bit. Why don't we take a couple of clicks and we'll see what fucking kills us soon? Well, which is okay. I'm sorry, not so fast. Because I want to see what the splash damage deflection is on this one.
On which this? Or are we going forward?
Splash deflection is 83.6k. Okay.
Yeah. Right. So.
Okay, keep on going forward till we got the. There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a dumbfire weapon. It's got 1,000 projectile speed.
Wave motion gun.
But you know,
it's the wave motion gun.
Yeah, but you can't get that if you haven't got hunters. So all right, you can stop it if you've got fangs. So unless you've got fang teeth, you can't stop that fucking ship at all, can you?
Yeah, but as I recall, the what's the special that gives you plus 300 critical for ballistic?
Yeah, but you can't do that because this is only an Omega weapon.
It's only what?
It's only an Omega weapon, so you can't put a special on it.
Oh, is it? Okay, where does it show?
It's for the OP, man. Yeah.
For the OP.
Oh, crap. Okay, never mind. I'm sorry.
That's why it's got a reload time of 15, and you know.
No, but there's nothing on this that shows.
Well, the kind of giveaway is the fact that it doesn't say
there's no weapon weight.
Weapon weight, and it doesn't say.
Okay.
Yeah.
I looked at this
and it doesn't.
okay.
And it doesn't say power. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Never mind. I'm sorry.
No worries.
So we have to give away our concussive Gatling Omega, right? To get this ballistic.
Yeah. But then that's not a major issue because the only thing that was any good for was stopping rages and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, that's true.
If you're stopping Ritz with the explosive damage, then you've got enough to stop anything that's coming in. So.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, and with the bus, I mean, what I've been doing is prepping certain stuff out with just a bus and a couple of liberators and some anti-Rits. you've been using those to prep certain things out and stuff like that. So yeah. But the main issue with this weapon is that it's not available to everybody. It should be released as a research, I believe, because now you're giving the haves and have-nots again the advantage over everybody having.
And the disparity grows. Yeah, and the disparity grows greater and greater. And then on top of it, this is out now. Next week we have Bounty with the new Tier 7 hull. I mean, the confluence of events. Perfect storm. This is going to be a shit show this month. Or it has the potential to be a very big shit show this month, I should say.
Yeah, so the bounty prize, if we move on to that. So let's just have a look at the ballistic deflection on that. So that's 200,000 ballistic deflection. So, even if you get a direct hit with it, it's not going to, by the time you've added specials onto there, so your splash reduction from your plates on their wall plating, and you add in your turret defense, then you're completely mitigating it again. So it's kind of swing to swing.
So has anybody noticed by chance that all the Tier 6 and most of the 6.5s were always weak to ballistic, right? Now that new Omega comes out, negating all of those hulls, and now the new or newer Conquerors are starting to look like the corrosive is going to be the little weakness that goes through it.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I like that shit.
Well, and they didn't put the adder strike in the tech store.
Yeah, so you need, people need to have that adder strike. It needs to be in this. What gets me, what's really pissing me off now is that, we've got the Forsaken mission, and we've got the tokens, and we've got in like the tier, each of the tiers, you can have your elite chest, and then you have you can have 3 days worth of icebreaker tokens and 3 days of this and 3. Why can't we just have a tag in there to get charged armors that people haven't got, so that people can catch up without having to do fucking TLCs all the time that they haven't got the kit to do in the first place? That's pissing me off. But it's a perfect opportunity to allow people to catch up and actually work for it at the same time instead of just giving it to them. And
Kickstar's not catering to people to catch up. Kickstar's not catering to bringing new players in. Kickstar's not catering to lower level players. At this point in time in the game, the only thing Kickstar is catering to is the almighty credit card.
I don't know that it's even that. I think it's more fundamental. I think it's, back in the day, it used to be, coded and run by people that actually played the game and loved the game and this and that. And now it seems like a lot of the decisions are based just on metrics, which is a really crappy way to run a game. There's nothing in metrics that show anything significant other than, hey, this is what I can make any numbers look like anything if I want. And I can guarantee you someone's looking at the numbers and going, hey, the longer we have people engaged, the more money we make, right? That doesn't make for a fun game. That just means they're going to try and keep us on the damn friggin' computer as long as possible. And guess what? I got a fucking life, man.
Yeah, and secondly, at the end of the day, I'm not being funny, but if it's not fun, I ain't spending money.
No, and that's exactly it. Way back, it used to be fun because the people that were actually doing it were playing it and actually interacted all the time.
And that's when I used to spend a shit ton. Yeah. And I mean an absolute fucking shit ton on it. But now I'm not. Because it's not fun.
It was a metric shit ton. Just for clarity, it was a metric shit ton.
600 things to do before I can actually have any fun. And then I go out, have 5 minutes of fun.
And you know what? That's exactly a good point with regard to going back to expeditions, right? Our complaints were that we were doing too much shit and couldn't play the game. So they're like, okay, we're going to come out with this to get you guys off of doing chores and being.
But they don't understand. but they don't understand how we spend our resources.
Yep. Metrics. I can guarantee you the
Yeah.
disparity boils down to them not deciphering the metrics properly.
We use all of our resources, all of our special resources like titanium and uranium in big chunks. We don't use it in little bits. If you're looking at how much we use over a month, it might equal out to us only use it probably 10, 15 a day of titanium across the month, but we use it in 120 chunks, unless of course, and then of course on top of that, VXP tokens as well. But we use it in big chunks. Same with uranium. If you're doing retrofits that are 93,000 a go every 24 hours, you're going to use it.
But what I was meaning was what I meant was when you said that, you said I'm not trying to be funny, but I'll spend when it's fun. That's not being funny at all. Like that is the actual essence of the fucking of a game, of a successful game, is your players are having fun, so of course they're going to spend, right?
Exactly.
I mean, that's not a trivial thing at all.
No, I don't find having to refit my shit every fucking 2 weeks, and then because I'm refitting my shit every 2 weeks, I can't keep up with the game. Makes it less fun because I'm not being able to keep up, which means I'm not being able to have the fun.
You're frustrated.
Which makes me frustrated, and which is why I left fucking 18 months in the first place. So, I come back with an open mind to try and kind of go, all right, we'll go again, have a nice start afresh, and we'll just go in. Because what pissed me off was when they tried to put things in boxes. And now what they're doing is putting them in even more fucking boxes, which is pissing me off even more now. So when it changed from, raids, I used to be able to have a hitting fleet that would go and hit bases, and I'd still be able to use it for raids and stuff like that. It'd be multi-use, and it'd be all right for me to use that same fleet to do certain chores and stuff like that. Now I've got to have a separate fleet for doing this, a separate fleet for doing that. And every raid, I've got to have now 2 fleets to do a fucking raid, and 2 fleets to do this. And now, because I've only built one, I can't do the fucking TLC, which means that I'm now fucking down and out basically with regards to defending my base or attacking bases, all because they're putting things in more and more boxes all the fucking time. And I do apologise about my language, but it pisses me off. Anybody else want to chime in on that?
No, I fully agree with you.
Like I said, man, it's more than a valid point. Like I don't know where they lost it between understanding the fun factor and that equates to profit, where they started just relying on metrics more and more and more. At some point, there was a transition that's just bad.
Well, this is, I mean, I don't know if anybody's really interested, but I'll read to you what I sent to Rampage earlier about after the release. It's a bit of a rant, but hey, it's what really needs to be fucking sorted out, really. And I think it's fundamentally where they're going wrong with the game. So I put in there. I actually played on something that you said the other week, and I put just wait for the comment. Feel like nothing but cannons for a month. Those comments don't mean we want you to change stuff because we're bored. It's because you're going over the top. Quite up for change, but at the rate that's happening, you're making yourselves work harder to piss people off. I, for one, will sit out Bantley this time, and PvP is my favourite part of the game, purely because I won't have recovered from the onslaught of the raid. This is when they said that we had 2 TLCs in there, so and then the 2 TLCs, the VXP weekend. It's like one day off, by the time I've done all of those in 2 weeks, that's worse than going to work, mate. You guys need to think of it like that. The whole excuse of you do not have to do it if you don't want to doesn't wash, right? Because without doing it, you can't have the fun, and it's not. If it's not fun, then what's the point? Content overload is not fun. Sorry to moan, but you guys need to learn it quick. Another thing to mention is another reason.
If you don't do the bounty earth, then you're
reason-
going to fall behind on PvP.
I don't care. I'm to that point now where I don't care because it's not fun anymore. And if it's not fun, then what's the point? So another thing to mention is that another reason the PvP is down is having to have the 2 raid fleets built. I only built hunters to enable me to catch up. Now I don't have fangs, so I can't do the campaign. Even though I have the latest skirmish tech, prize pack 1, I get one-shotted by a single boat because I don't have both until I can catch up and get my huggies built. I can't build the 2 fleets and keep up and catch. You're sticking people catch up. You're sticking people in a position where you're sucking everything from them. It makes them feel like fuck it. Honestly, thinking, oh, here we go. This is why I quit 18 months ago in the first place. And if it continues, I'll probably walk again. Thing is, I have no scope to build what's required for the next raid and build fangs. I obviously need for the TLCs. At the same time, just like I couldn't build the fangs during the last cycle because I needed to build stuff to get titanium. Shaking my head, I see the pattern here. You're locking people in a continuous loop of pain, and that's where your issue is with player retention. I said, I coin as well. I used to do 1,000 a month, and now I'll do like 50 by spending for something that's already out of date. That's basically my attitude on it. Haven't got a response, but he has seen it, so I'm expecting a response soon. Really.
So all that I got out of that is that the reason why we don't have the TLC this week is Earth's fault.
Yeah, it's my fault. Yeah.
Too many TLCs this week. They got rid of one.
Yeah. Well, it's just I just can't. It was content overload from the start, the way that they wanted to do it, and it's just the way that they've done it, and they've not balanced it so that the top tier skirmish fleet from last raid can do, even to a certain extent, the TLC is absolute bullshit.
No, I agree. I mean, it's I wouldn't call it the top tier. I mean, because everybody else considers the Fangtooth to be the top tier, but no, I do understand the fact that they never. What?
It's still top tier because at the end of the day, it was a fleet that was capable of doing this type target, so it's top tier. It's not
because if you look at it, it is top tier because you had one S target that was of the same value for the Fangtooth. You had the other S target was the same value, and it was for the Hunter. So they were both equal in that aspect during the raid.
Yeah, I'm agreeing with you. I'm agreeing with what Irv said. It's just like the whole time once they separated things in the raid, how are they going to bring them back together? And I think we all agreed they failed doing that as far as bringing them all back together. Like we talked about earlier, as far as the difference between the Phoenix and Skyfire. The Skyfire was, better to do like Tech 3 as far as the TLC goes. And
at the end of the day, the fundamental issue here is that there's content overload is insane. The swing in PvP is insane, and having to have 2 fleets to do the raids and then subsequent TLCs is not working, and it is bad for the community and it is bad for the game. Simple as that.
I agree with you.
And I don't see them making any moves whatsoever to try and fix it.
It's up to them if they want to try and fix it or not. But for player retention, if that's what they want is player retention and want people spending money, it's not fucking working for them. Because
Well,
all
the
it seems
thing is when you frustrate your players, right? It's not going to ever end well. And the thing is this is getting to a point, and this is another reason why I'm really concerned about this month. Is it's getting to a point where the player base is really, really frustrated again, right? I mean, we had a good raid that helped a little bit, but damn, everyone's frustrated as shit because right after that good raid, we got whacked with the TLC that got hunters, tough shit, and then we have all this stuff that's going forward, and it's just not. Ooh. I have concerns. I have concerns. That's the catchphrase right now.
Yeah, and the fact that it was, it's YouTube. I mean, I didn't want to put a picture associated with Boulder Fist. I mean, that's, where is this name coming from, to be honest? Because I could have come up with a picture, but, it wouldn't be good.
Isn't that like a superhero or something like that? Boulder Fist? I don't know.
I don't know, but I'm afraid to Google it, so you can do that.
Yeah, exactly. That's what
I'll find some crazy like XXX truck stop shit or something. Who knows?
Well, do we have anything? We've been going on for 2 hours. I think we did a legitimate 2 hours. We didn't really, sometimes people say we went to the after show, during the show, but I think we provided good content throughout the show.
Okay,
Yeah,
I
I
Googled
just-
Boulder Fist.
Of course you did.
Oh,
This is where we go into the after show, Jeff. I'm just saying.
No,
Right
we
now,
All right.
We do not need to go to the after show. Everything on the entire Google list for Boulder Fist is all World of Warcraft.
Yeah, that's what I just looked up.
Okay.
Yeah, they probably have safe search on.
it's a
I was just
spell.
afraid Dr. Death would turn his webcam on.
It's a spell in World of Warcraft.
Yeah.
I mean,
All right,
they've stolen from Blizzard for years, so that that kind of fits.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Should we proceed to the after show? I've just posted the link one time.
Please, because I gotta go.
The show was a bit crazy. I think it was not. The shows are. It's not as crazy as it can be. The show sometimes gets a little crazier, but I think it went well. But is there anything else that we ought to? I think Earth did a good summary as far as like what was going on, as far as like players' interaction with the game, especially with the the divergence of the skirmish halls and how they can be used in the future. I mean, I think that's a really good point that somebody needs to listen to, because it's not making people happy that you definitely there's no doubt about it now. You need to have both halls, not just for the little bonus in the raid. You need to have it to even survive the TLC, and that's that wasn't communicated well, to be honest. I mean, we sort of thought it, and everybody did it.
What's going to happen when they move these targets out and replace the map targets?
Again, I don't know. I mean, I was disappointed in this showing, is what I'm saying. This showing with the TLC, I was highly disappointed with what they did. As a longtime player, I expected something more balanced that would allow both halls to do these targets, not a singular target. But we started getting that trend associated with the assault raid, and whatever. I mean, that's what they're fucking doing. I'm not gonna change their minds. They won't even let me on any of the previews or crap. They don't care what I have to say. So,
well, whoever they're listening to is giving them bad advice.
Whatever. I don't even know who they listen to. I mean,
I don't necessarily think it's bad advice that they're getting, but they think that they're only taking advice from a certain select set of people who all seem to play the game in a similar manner, not taking it from a wide range of people that play the game day in, day out.
Yeah.
If you get what I mean. I think it's just they've got their set of people that they use to preview stuff, and people who might spend a lot more than what the average person does. Or, you know, somebody who's got a lot of the time on their hands and stuff like that. But it's just, I think that a lot of it is to do with that they've got only people in one sort of select group that are all very similar, rather than taking, you know, one person from this alliance, one person from that alliance, one person from that alliance, and you know,
there's a lack of diversity in the voices that they're hearing. Is that what you're saying?
Seems like it.
yeah, yeah, and I think that that's what's screwing it. But I think that there needs to be more diversity, definitely, in who they're listening to. I think that this whole kind of culture of, I know that they listen to a lot of people that are like in PNLS and stuff like that, or in certain other groups, and there's, you know, they'll use certain top groups which all play in that top band, and they all play all of the time. They all spend a ton of money, and you know they've never been behind in their lives in the game, and you know they kind of take their view on things and never kind of pay any attention to what anybody else says.
Yeah,
They've got their set group.
I mean,
That's their.
from what I've seen, they're more likely to listen to somebody that coins a 71, coins repair on a 71, than, you know.
Yeah, but the thing is, mate, the way that you got to look at it is everybody needs a farm, and if you're pissing off all of the farms, then there ain't going to be anybody to it, is there? So,
yeah.
and it sounds quite harsh way to look at it, but it's a good way to look at it.
No, I understand what you're saying. Hey, Ron, we're about to wind things down. You got any parting words?
Yeah, I've got some parting words. The expedition's just shit. Sort it out.
I was kind of wondering how everything was going because I talked to a few people and they said they were total crap. So work for a week to get 1/10 of the uranium you can get in 5 minutes.
Yeah. So you know, it's all right if you're going to use, like, for example, I used Apollos earlier on. 3 days out, you can get like 16,000 in titanium if you're not using your Apollos. But it's really the only thing it's good for is if you're going on vacation, or if you start it just before a raid. That's the only time it's ever going to be useful.
Well,
in my
until
opinion.
until they realize that their balance is way.
Until they change it, yeah. Because the trouble is, it's all right having that steady trickle coming in, but that's not how we use the resources. We use them in chunks, and that's the issue.
Alrighty. Ram, did you have any? You just showed up. Do you have any words?
No, I've been working on recovering 2 hard drives all day long. So I just appreciate the fact that you guys are still here.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's funny. I'm trying to figure out how to clone one right now.
Just miserable.
All right. Well, I posted the link in the chat if anybody would like to join us in the after show. I think we're going to talk about, because I'm curious what Earth is. Because a lot of people want to have like the British UK.
Punisher skin?
No. Yes, no. What people do in the UK for Christmas, because like my mom. Oh, okay. I want this, I want that. That's what they do in the UK, and I'm curious what Earth is actually doing in the UK as far as, like what's going to happen for Christmas dinner. And, because I have my own ideas, we talk about all this kind of crap. And so you can join us for that, because I will ask him. He may not say anything. He may say I'm going to have fish and chips and I'm going to drink a lot of beer. That's a possibility, but I'm not saying that's what he's going to say. So it's all up to them. But,
Ham and lamb.
I'm doing, I'm doing, because I'm not actually going to use
my Christmas Day menu is quite exquisite. So yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we'll talk about that in the after show, and whatever else you guys would like to talk about. And I'm going to post the link one last time. And Matthew.
I got him.
There we go.
I got him.
And mute your tubes beforehand.
Yeah. Or get your microphone away from the speaker. One or the other.
Yeah. So, all right, everybody. We'll be we're gonna be back tomorrow.
We are gonna be back tomorrow. On that note, everyone have a great evening. Because
I really hate that.
Well,
I mean,
don't stop. Just don't just go to the after show. Everyone have a great evening. I actually have to bounce because I'm going to have dinner. So, good night, everybody.
Okay. Good night, everyone, and take care.
Right.
And we'll see you tomorrow. We're going to do our regular Friday night open mic show, and you guys can tell us what you think about what's going on. So we appreciate you all, and if you find it all useful, and if you think your alliance would be entertained by it, post a link, and then they can you can talk about what an asshole Dr. Death was tonight. So
Hey, the only ones that think that are the ones whose bases